Don't get in my way now.
Welcome back to the GSTL. Like yesterday, an IM Protoss puts them into the lead at 1-0. And Fnatic has chosen Moon here, the map. It's loading up right now on my screen. It is, in fact, going to be Whirlwind.
Whirlwind is going to be our map today. And you know what? The choice to use Moon here, after thinking about it a little bit, is actually a little bit odd to me. The reason being is that if you look at Moon statistics in all the matchups, the matchup against Protoss seems to be his weakest. He still has a 51% win ratio with 80 games played in this matchup. But still, if you just have a look at his recent match history, he lost to MC without taking a map at the FnaticRC Summer 2012. He was barely able to defeat Bishu and Wellmoon at the same tournament, and he actually lost to Yonghwa in the last season too. So it seems to be a matchup where he is a little bit shaky in the recent past, so I'm not quite sure if he's the best choice to send out against the Protoss play here, if it wouldn't have been wiser to save him for later on.
I think I think you're absolutely right. Maybe the idea here is if I do beat this Protoss, then it puts a little bit of an awkward, tense moment on IM. They probably didn't expect maybe Moon this early, and so they have to make a choice of a really strong player to take him out. Probably another Protoss. The map is loading now, though. This is game number 2. Can Moon tie up things here for Fnatic? Or will Protoss player put them 2-0 here at the GSTL? What did he just say?
I have no idea. I don't really want to know.
That song is just, I don't.
We are cross-position, guys. It's the second game between LGIM and Fnatic, and to the top left, we have once again the incredible Miracle player. It's the Protoss, and he calls himself
LGIM Yonghwa!
He just defeated a Zerg player on Cloud Kingdom, was able to take down Jay, aka Lovesick. He's a little bit lucky with the pylon in the main base of the Zerg. But now he's up against another Zerg player. He's up against the 5th race. He is up against
FnaticRC Moon!
And this guy is now playing against a Protoss after his Zerg teammate was defeated, but it was in very unusual fashion, you know? We didn't really get to see a straight-up game last game, so don't count Moon out, despite the fact that, like you said, at LANs recently, he has not performed well against Protoss players.
Exactly. In case that you just tuned in for the match, one of the problems that Moon had in the past was that he did not look that strong against Protoss, which makes the choice of sending him out here against a Protoss player a little bit odd. He was taken down by MC in actually, I don't know. Was it the semifinal? Yeah, I think it was actually the semifinal.
Yeah, you and I cast it together.
Yeah, at the FnaticRC Summer, he didn't win a single map against MC. He barely was able to defeat Bishu and Wellmoon, two European players, and lost actually in the last GSTL season to JYP, to Creator, and to Yonghwa. So this is also a little bit of a revenge match. And in case that you are not really familiar with Moon, then why he's called the 5th race, even though there are only 3 races in in StarCraft, the reason is that Moon is basically a Warcraft 3 player. He's a legend. He was a legend in Warcraft 3. And in Warcraft we had 4 races, and because he was so strong and so incredibly good at the game, he was called the 5th race. And now look at this. He is actually going to have a huge problem here, because he has no idea about those 2 pylons and about the cannon attack that Yonghwa is launching.
He went hatch first and then gas before fool, so he is really, I love Yonghwa. Just, he sees opportunities, man, and he takes them. He saw the Overlord move, and he's like, well, putting a cannon down here. He's actually going to now look like a normal scout. Come over here. The drone goes down to check.
The expansion is
so
dead.
late. Yeah.
The expansion is definitely dead. He will lose it or has to cancel it. He will have to make a choice. He
still isn't going to see it. If he actually doesn't, if he doesn't cancel here, he's going to be in so much trouble.
He will see that it is being attacked. The cannon is
barely. Oh, and he doesn't cancel.
No, it's too close. It was not enough time for him to actually select the hatch and take it down. And now, because it was not cancelled, Yonghwa places down his second cannon just to be safe with a spine crawler. Maybe can he hold it? It's going to be so close, but another cannon is going to be built.
And you know, part of the problem is this pool is just so late, and the cannon position is too good. He cannot really surround it with lings. I don't think he's going to be able to hold this hatch with 3 cannons. No way. But consider that with 3 cannons plus the 2 pylons, it's a lot of resources spent. For Yonghwa, but it's definitely worth it in this case.
Exactly, it's worth it just because he will be able to deny the mining at the second base. He will secure his own natural.
Oh, Moon's gonna have to be careful with these lings.
He's losing too much. There is no way to hold the hatchery. If he targets us down, even with the Spire, there's just no clue. And now what does Moon do? He goes for a Baneling Nest, and this is just basically him saying, okay, I know I lost my hatch, I have no way of actually securing the space. I would have to take my natural at the third, or I can go for a 1-base attack with Banelings. But Yonghwa is no pushover. This guy knows exactly what's now coming his way. He knows about the dangers that he's facing. He's even scouting the 3rd position now because he wants to know what Moon is going to do. And he sees there's no hatch, so now he knows exactly there's going to be a 1-base play. This is why we see the second cannon now coming up at the wall.
Yep, and he's likely going to take even additional precautions, for example, checking for Nidus networks and things like that, because this is what you see when your opponent does not make that 3rd hatchery. The spine crawler is actually going to have to be moved, or it is going to die of being off creep.
Very important, though, is that also we have 2 additional cannons now being placed down for Yonghwa.
And he's getting a sentry.
Yes, exactly. He needs the sentry, and that's why he chrono boosted. And he might actually have to place down another pylon or a gateway here in order to block this off. And he will. The Banelings are already on the map, and there it is. We have another gateway being built, and this is going to be so difficult to break through.
Yep. He even tanks Baneling shot with the Zealot. He doesn't even kill the pylon.
And
oh, he can trap these Gears of the Force if he wants.
He tries to move in. Yeah, well, the pylon dies, but that's all that dies. He didn't even have to use the energy on the sentry just yet, so that was actually really well done by Yonghwa.
Yeah,
very
so
safe.
patient.
And what can Moon do now? There's not a lot.
Yeah, there's not a lot at all. He even cancels the gateway re-pylon walls.
Just to give you a little bit of an idea of how far behind Moon right now is, he is currently looking at only 15, 18, now 19 harvesters to 28. 2 bases for Yonghwa, 1 base for Moon, who now starts a 1-base lair tech. I think we're going to see an attempt of using Nidus network in order to get into the main base, but that's basically the last chance that Moon actually has.
Yeah, the other possibility with the second gas, I feel, is that he does a forward Nidus with a Hydralisk Den and try to bust, but with all the cannons that are already on the high ground, I just don't see that being a realistic possibility. Plus, it's the type of ramp that it's going to be so hard to break. This is not a map like Daybreak, for example, where you can attack with even ground. You're going to have to go up a ramp against that many cannons. Double Stargate is the choice of Yonghwa, which I think is the perfect choice in this scenario.
With a double Stargate, this is something that Moon is not going to expect, and even if he chooses Hydralisk, with the economy that Yonghwa has, will probably have a lot more Phoenixes than an opponent has Hydras, and if he just lifts them, takes them down, that will help him so much. He sees 1 Stargate, by the way. Moon has spotted it, but here comes the Nidus network, as predicted already. But of course, we have LGIM's Yonghwa already with an 1 pylon at the bottom left of his face.
Powder, Moon is going to lose the Overlord, or it's at least going to be chased away. He doesn't really have a way to put a Nidus in the main base, and even if he wanted to, he's going to have to use it forward.
Look at this, I love it. He places down another pylon. He knows about the dangers. I mean, this guy is so experienced that he knows, okay, what can my opponent do? He's on 1 base right now, he tried a Baneling Bust, it failed. What is the next step for the Zerg? And the next step, obviously, is going to be the last resort, the Nidus network. But with the Phoenixes on the map, he can take down the Overseer, and he knows that with the pylon placement that he chose, he sees everything in his base.
Now, all it's going to take is him seeing the Nidus and reacting. The Overseer now flying in from the left side.
And he will pull all of his drones, all of his probes immediately.
Yeah, there's nowhere to hide. He sees the Overseer, drops the Changeling as well, and he's like freaking out right now. He's like, where do I put the Nidus?
And now, of course, those Phoenixes will just swoop in and try to take him down as fast as possible.
He drops the Nidus.
Where are the probes?
Well,
is it? No, he sees it.
He's gonna get maybe 1 or 2 units out here, but
no,
maybe not even 1.
No, he won't.
And 1 link, 2 lings.
You're right.
3 lings get out, and that's it.
That's it, and you can expect GG any second here.
Yeah.
3 Zerglings, no chance of getting Nidus network in the base any longer. The Zerglings are being taken out. He's down to 49 supply.
block.
He's not even building anything anymore.
Yeah, he's actually just sitting with his hands on his keyboard right now, trying to figure out, I don't know, maybe the meaning of life. I'm not sure, but there's no answer here. 49 out of 42. He starts 2 Overlords now.
He even lets a few of his probes just sit there in order to take down a second attempt of Moon to place down another Nidus network, but that's not going to happen.
Phoenixes are going into the main where they will find the only queen and kill it. It's going to take 2 lifts to do so. A forward Nidus does go down outside of the main.
I mean, he tries. He tries and he really tries hard, but at this point, what can he do? The Void Ray is now on its way as well. We have the sentries still at the bottom. They can use the force fields there, all the cannons. He even sees the Nidus network. He knows everything that's happening here, and he builds additional cannons. The Phoenixes just arrived at the bottom right to take down the Queen, and that's exactly this.
That game was pretty straightforward, man. Younghwa is the opportunity seizer. He says, oh, you sent your Overlord too far? You don't have a spotter? I guess I'll just cannon your natural. Well executed, and he forced Moon into an unguardable position on a map that's so good for Zerg against Protoss. Younghwa really coming through for his team today already.
Yeah. And what I really want to point out is that there was no cheese involved with what Younghwa did. He just saw that his opponent was way too greedy, and he's like, okay, well, if you really try to get away with this, I will prove you wrong. I will show you that you can't do that against me. The cannons are just the logical consequence of what Moon did. Moon didn't scout. He started with a very greedy build and tried to go for a macro game, but Younghwa was just like, well, you can't do that against me. And then Moon was forced to make a choice. Either expand at the 3rd base or go for the 1 base all-in. He chose to go for the 1 base all-in, but the problem was that Younghwa was ready. And the second step, the Nidus network, was also something that Younghwa just shut down immediately.
When you make 3 cannons too, if you take the 3rd base, yeah, that's great, but it's a late 3rd. It's not, you're not really getting the same mining. You have to send your drones a little bit further. Then you want to take a 3rd hatchery, like a normal Zerg would want to, but then how do you kill those cannons? Are you going to make roaches to kill those? That's 3 cannons. You can't kill that with lings. There's a wall set up.
Yeah,
I mean, it's so uncomfortable.
It's not only the cannons. Another problem that you have is if you take the 3rd, it's much more exposed than the natural is. And at the same time, your opponent can use the pylon, the natural, to warp in units. Even go for a 4-gate, for example, and just suddenly, if you play too greedy and try to saturate both bases with drones, suddenly you're faced with a round of warp-ins or 2, and you're like, well, how do I defend that? So a very tricky situation for Moon indeed, and Younghwa, as you already pointed out, just seized an opportunity.
Yeah, he grabbed it onto it and held onto it hard, and I mean, from whenever the hatchery has to be canceled, you've got to cancel it, and if you don't cancel it, you're basically just an auto loss. Now, who is next? It's going to be Bjol, another Zerg.
Wow.
3 Zergs in a row.
It is really going to be Bjol. Not really what I expected here after we've seen 2 Zerg players die to Younghwa, who looks really strong against Zerg today. A 56% win ratio in total, but doing a great job against Fnatic right now. Even if he loses at this point, he already did everything and more that they expected from him.
Yep. Bjol, a lot of pressure on him now. He's looking at his headset like he doesn't know what it is. He's figuring it out for the first time.
Well, there's a lot of pressure now on his shoulders, and the last time he really came through for his team. The main question, of course, is can he do it again today? They need him.
Yeah, I wonder if he's gonna have, you know, some sort of different luck. I mean, so far Younghwa getting pretty lucky with what's, I mean, not lucky, but in a sense, yeah, he's caught his opponents off guard 2 games in a row. We haven't really seen a straight-up game from him yet, which makes it even harder for Bjol because he hasn't been able to study a playstyle, really. I think he's going to play a lot more carefully, though.
You know, the thing about Bjol is that he's actually really good against Protoss. He was playing at the Korean qualifier for the IEM in Cologne, and he took down Squirtle with a 2-0 and was also able to defeat Tails, for example. So he's really a strong player when it comes down to this particular matchup. Younghwa now has a lot of momentum going for him, though, and the next map is going to be Daybreak. I think this is going to be a very, very interesting game. Just think about what's going to happen if Bjol loses. It's not only the fact that then suddenly Fnatic would be down 3 games, but they would basically be out of Zerg players.
Yeah. And this, I mean, he's got to win. If he doesn't win here, then Fnatic, not only are they going to have to figure out how they want to beat this unstoppable Protoss, but they're going to have to beat potentially MVP, Nestea, Lucira, Seed.
Happy
Happy? Yoda? True? They're probably not worried about True as much, but they potentially have to beat him. It depends on what Hirai wants, man. Biel's got to take this win, and Younghwa's got to be feeling great right now. And I bet you if he finds another opportunity, he's going to take it. I just don't know which one it's going to be this time.
I can actually see how the IM coach is going to just choose the next player. He's just going to assign a number to each one of his players and then rolling the dice.
Yeah, I think so. Well, Daybreak is loading. We'll see if IM can continue the trend and get a third win, or if Biel can put Fnatic on the score.